I believe what we saw in there, that dance, that's called content creation, Jake Paul, okay?
Content creation.
Great to see you, buddy.
Good to see you guys.
How are you doing, Jake? Nice to see you.
We're live. What's going on?
You mentioned that this is kind of just a dream out here, okay? You main eventing pay-per-views 4 fights into your pro career is a dream. What does it mean to literally be in public square here in Cleveland in a public workout? I mean, you couldn't have thought about that.
I couldn't have thought about this. I couldn't have dreamt it. That's why I was just looking around. I was like, how am I here? This is the city that made me, and to bring this one home, it's the perfect crescendo to my boxing career that's, just starting out. But looking around, seeing friends and family, seeing this beautiful city, I'm just having fun. I'm trying to soak it all in because you don't get moments like this twice in life.
We just had Tyron Woodley in here a little bit earlier. Got to say, and I'm sure you know this already, but it is worth pointing out, looks to be in tremendous shape. Looks like he took this seriously. I'm guessing that's actually what you want, right? Because if you took it seriously and you beat him, what can folks say after that, right?
100%. He said he's training like he's fighting a Mike Tyson. Floyd Mayweather's training him. And you can tell he's in shape. He's got the six-pack back. He's looking good. He's not messing around. This is his biggest fight ever. And the whole MMA community is counting on him to represent them and to get the W. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen. And when I beat him, there will be no excuses because he was trained by Floyd Mayweather, because Jorge Masvidal said he was going to knock me out, because he took this camp and had a 14-week camp. He didn't, we didn't give him 8 weeks. We signed the contract 14 weeks out. He has no excuses.
I want to find out something here, Jake, because you've had so much success financially, drawing attention-wise, entertainment-wise. It feels like whatever you and your brother are touching, it's moving mountains. So shout out to you guys in that regard. You'd have to be a special kind of crazy then, and I know you got this question asked a lot when you immediately made the transition to boxing, to take this on. So what kind of crazy are you that this might not be the smartest choice for you at 24 years old to take this on? You can make money in many different avenues. How do you explain doing this and then coming in like I'm a badass? They're yelling for you out here.
Let's go. I love Cleveland, baby. The fans are already lit. This is amazing. But look, man, I love boxing. I fell in love with it. Something about knocking someone out, cracking someone in the face. My whole life has been a fight. I've never got anything handed to me, so I feel like I'm at home. I feel like I was put on this earth to fight, and I like challenges. I'm driven by challenges. And I wanted to be in the NFL when I was a kid. I wanted to be a pro athlete. And so now when my career comes back full circle from, doing all the content, YouTube, Disney, acting stuff, to be able to be an athlete again, I love it. And now this is more than just, fighting. This is about my team, my friends, my family, my purpose to create history. I have the chance to do something that very few humans once a century in this sport get to do. And I'm not going to live that down, and I'm not going to mess up and slip up.
Did you plan to become a fighter pay advocate?
I did not plan,
But you have become one.
Apparently, I'm the advocate for that now. And hey,
it's because every time you do it, someone asks Dana White about it, so then he has to respond to it, and it just repeats itself.
It's a full circle. And look, his fighters can't use their voice. If the UFC fighters talk about how they're not getting paid, they're going to get shelved. They're going to get put to the side. Dana White's not going to put them in fights. So I'm really the only person that has a big platform that is speaking up on it. And when I did, everyone agreed with me. And I was like, okay, I'm going to run with this more because it's something that I do believe in. And I do think it's something that needs change, even for boxers. I made it a point on this card to take less money to make sure that the people on the card were getting the biggest paydays of their career. So I'm not just, saying it out loud. I'm actually taking the actions to try and make a difference because this is the hardest thing I've ever done. And so I think people deserve to get paid.
When you say it's the hardest thing, the training, because my understanding is you run 50% of this whole show, at least for this weekend. Is that managing those affairs what you're talking about, or the trainer, or the combo of the both?
All of the above. Yeah. Boxing's a 24/7 job. Training for a fight training camp, sleep, eat, recovery, not partying, sober, no distractions, no girls, like that type of stuff. All of it makes it the hardest job. Plus the promotional side of it. I've probably done 75 interviews in the past 3 weeks.
I believe it.
Nonstop.
Never with a guy this sweaty, though, Jake.
Never this sweaty. Never straight after a workout. But, hey, there's a first time for everything.
Can I confess something? I was a Jake Paul skeptic for a long time. Total hater. You turned me. And I'll tell you where I turned is when I saw you had the MMA community eating out of your palm when you were trolling them. I could not. Were you surprised at how easily you managed that?
No, that's what I come. The background that I have is trolling, is the internet, is marketing, is twisting things, and using that to flip it back on people. So I understand that game more than anything, and so I knew what I was doing. I knew I was going to piss off the community, put them in my hand, and then be able to do whatever I want with them. But I appreciate you saying that. At first I do seem arrogant, I do seem loud, obnoxious. But there's a deeper
method. There's a method.
Exactly. There's a deeper thing to everything. And
you got to tell us what did last question for you. What
it.
did Daniel Cormier say to you at that UFC event?
Yeah, he came up to me and was like, "I'm not the one to play with. Don't play with me, man. You better keep your name or my name out of your mouth." And I said, "Wait a second. You spoke about me first. I didn't say anything. You talked about me on your podcast, and then I responded and called you fat, and now you're mad. What are you going to do? You want to come beat me up?" He said he was going to slap me when he saw me in person. So that's why I took off my glasses, I handed it to my security guard, and I was ready to fight. But he didn't do shit.
But it has to blow you away at how easy it is. You could just almost go through your phone and pick out a name and go, let me see if I can get this guy to want to publicly fight me. Yeah. Is it literally at that point now where you're setting the web and they're falling right into it?
I think so, man. After my brother fought Floyd Mayweather, I realized that anything's possible.
What was the biggest lesson? Is it that he exceeded expectations? What did you take away from that fight when you really thought about it maybe a week or two later?
Yeah, I think he exceeded expectations. My brother fought a good fight, and that maybe people don't want to admit that this is more of a business than it is a sport.
Okay, well, we talked about your ability to troll anyone from your background. You're trolling MMA, media, fighters, fans, everything. What about the boxing hardcores? Is your mindset set on, I want to win over the boxing hardcores and show you that I'm one of you? Or is part of you still being like, it's kind of a troll job to be main eventing a Showtime pay-per-view and have my own deal? That's a little bit of a troll job.
Yeah, look, I would love the boxing community to fully embrace me. I think a lot of people have already, but now it's the boxing purists who maybe fully don't understand exactly what I'm doing. So I would love that respect. And like I said, all I'm trying to do is have boxing become one of the top two sports. I want to take over the NBA. I want to take over the NFL. I want to take over MMA because MMA took over boxing for a long period of time. And I believe that with the lightweight division, the Garcias, Haney, Gervonta, the heavyweight division, all the fights that are about to happen, and then add in me and my brother and some of the YouTube creators that are boxing, we can make this sport go number one. And that's all I'm here to do.
He's Robin Hood, basically. All right, he's giving MMA fighters their biggest paydays. He's trying to put boxing back in the headlines. What else?
I don't know. We asked your brother? We did this in Miami with him. Why he didn't do MMA because we knew he wrestled at a pretty decent level in high school. Was MMA never a thing for you? Was it because of the structure? Like, how did boxing end up being the one that you got into?
It's weird. It sort of came about when people were talking smack online, and we were like, let's just settle this in the boxing ring. It just seemed like the thing that made the most amount of sense. And when I put on the gloves and started sparring, I was like, wow, I'm pretty good at this. And that's really where the love came from.
Speaking of love.
Hold on, I got to get this in. I got to get this in. Correct me if I'm wrong. Have I seen footage of you in I think it was your old L.A. mansion. I could be wrong about that. Beating up AJ Agazarm? Is that true?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, how many MMA fighters, and of course he's from jiu-jitsu more famously and whatnot, and has moonlighted in MMA. How many MMA fighters has that repeated itself for in training?
A lot. And nothing against MMA fighters. I respect MMA fighters. If I go into an MMA fight, they're going to tie me up and choke me out. AJ Agarzam, we did an MMA little mess around, and he choked me out. Okay, cool, you got me, bro. But in sparring boxing, that's my territory. You're coming where I'm going. And it's different. Boxers are a little bit more efficient with striking. They add up the numbers. They have the head movement. And so it's a different thing, and I've taken out a lot of MMA fighters in sparring. But it's just the name of the game. It's like a fish out of water. It's comparing apples to oranges.
Tyron Woodley is obviously the toughest test of your career, and we respect you for taking that on. But we did see Tommy Fury in this chair, and he's really good looking.
Kid.
We got to give it to him, Jake. Okay, I don't know if
he's good looking. Really good looking.
He wants to fight you, and I think it's natural that people are going to go, okay, if Jake gets past this test. Is it Anderson Silva, the big fish? Is it Conor McGregor? What about Tommy Fury? I mean, he's got to be on this card for a reason.
Yeah, look, it makes sense. You know, that's a huge fight. And it seems to be right in the palm of both of our hands. We do have to go out and perform on Sunday. And, you know, I want to see how the U.S. crowd receives him. I want to see if he has that star power this whole entire week. You know, he doesn't have the big pay-per-view numbers like Tyron Woodley has, or even a Ben Askren. Those guys sold tons of pay-per-views. Tommy Fury, no one's seen a Tommy Fury fight. Maybe the highlights.
He is big in the UK, in his defense.
However, I still don't think they've actually tuned in to watch his fights. Like, when you look at his pay-per-view numbers, it doesn't live up to it. So when you're making a fight with Jake Paul, it has to make sense from lots of things: height, weight, experience, you know, pay-per-view buys, notoriety, the ability to sell a fight, and the timing of it. Some of these guys that I want to fight right now, you know, Masvidal is talking smack. Okay, he's saying that Woodley's going to knock me out. After I knock out Woodley, I would love to fight Masvidal. That's a bigger fight than Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury. But will Dana White let him out of this contract? Kamaru Usman, will Dana White let him out of his contract? Some of these guys are tied up. Some of them don't make sense. Some of them, when it comes to signing the dotted line, they don't actually want to do it.
Okay,
Has Dana White ever DM'd you?
He hasn't.
No?
No, he
No?
hasn't.
Okay, speaking of winning over, Dana, whenever we talk about your potential future opponents, you ask any fan, journalist, or expert, they're going to say it's all going to be, half the list is going to be UFC guys. So do you envision one day that you're going to get so big that, like when Dana White got on board with Conor boxing Floyd Mayweather, Showtime pay-per-view was a giant ordeal, everybody made money on it. Do you see Dana eventually relenting if you keep proving that you're for real?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think you'll have to. And at the end of the day, he's a businessman who has to look at his P&Ls, look at the bottom line and see, look, this is where we're not making money, this is where we are making money. We need more promotion. I want this fighter to be promoted. Maybe we have to do the Jake Paul fight. I'm only 24, you know?
Jake, we have to wrap. So why don't you, if you want to say anything to the camera, to the fans, to anybody else, you get the last word on the whole broadcast.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Sunday, August 29th, get the pay-per-view. And if you're in Cleveland, come out to the show. I love you guys. Thank you all for the support. And I'm about to get this knockout. You already know it.
There he is, Jake Paul, Brian Campbell. I'm Luke Thomas. We are
August 29th, Tyron's walking into hell. He's just gonna burn alive. It's gonna be embarrassing as fuck.
I think Jake, some of his antics, I don't think it's disrespect. I think it's a mental warfare because you gotta recognize how much experience I have. I gotta keep reminding myself he's a child, that, you know, he's doing things that somebody his age should be doing.
I think with every fight, my confidence grows and grows and grows. Beating Ben Askren, I was just like, damn, like I can really punch someone.
Jake is nervous about this fight. You know, he's nervous in the face-offs. He said, I see fear in this. You haven't had enough face-offs to see fear. I've looked at somebody and I've seen fear and I knew it was gonna be over with in the first round. You can't say in 2.5 fights that you've done that.
I'm naturally talented, gifted, naturally athletic, naturally powerful. I'm also just a really fucking hard worker and I show up every single day, do every single thing right. That's what has made me a real sharp fighter. If we have to go 8 hard rounds, I'm ready.